So above the mind, above the emotions is the mind, and above the mind is the intelligence. And above the intelligence is you. So if you bypass the intelligence and just go to the emotions, you're not even giving your mind a chance and not your intelligence. So what that happens is that spirals you back into the mode of ignorance. Does that make any sense?
Yes, totally.
So therefore, we have to go through this process of self-questioning. Self-inquiry is the process that we're using in this. We have to ask ourselves this question: why am I getting into this situation? And then we do not bypass. But it is normal for us when we have gone through experiences of abandonment, when someone, they actually tell you, I never wanted you. It's such a beautiful experience if you think about that. If someone, you're with someone and they very clearly says, I never wanted to be with you, I don't want to be with you. You were just a chance or accident or whatever it is, because that is the truth. Then it's easier for you to deal with the truth than that father or mother or relative making your life horrible because they never wanted you in the first place. So truth is actually, that is very freeing. It frees the soul. And that is why we're always seeking for the truth. We're always seeking for the absolute truth. And absolute truth comes from within. And the relative truth comes from the mind. It's always manipulating, trying to figure out how to make your life be unreal, inauthentic. So therefore, yoga is explaining in this chitta cleanse that it is important not to bypass it, but to address it. So that's why when you categorize the emotions, it becomes, when you put them in the different modes, it becomes very clear what you need to work on. Because this mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, you want to take it to the mode of goodness. And actually, there is a higher stage above the mode of goodness that is called pure goodness. So this pure goodness is a place where you're truly connected to the divine. So when you have a bad experience, you don't just bypass it, you actually deal with it, right? You processed it and you took extract the essence out of it. And then you see how that incident in your life was actually meant for your spiritual growth. When that experience is meant for your spiritual growth, that you grow spiritually as a person and you're more connected to the divine, that is called pure goodness. Goodness is to find the good in those experiences. I'm a stronger person, I've dealt with it, he didn't mean to. You have extracted all the nectar out of that, of the most horrific experience. But when you connect that to the divine, then it becomes pure goodness. In Sanskrit, it's called Suddha Sattva. Suddha means pure, Sattva means pure goodness. Does that make sense? So these three modes of material nature is very important to understand because it affects us on every aspect of our life, from eating to sleeping to communicating, and how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. They all fall into these three modes of material nature. And when you understand what mode it falls into, then you can see how to bring it up and what needs more attention. Otherwise, all the emotions, imagine 82,000 thoughts a day an average human goes through. It's too many to process at one time. So how do you know which one to deal with? When you put them in these categories, it becomes very easy. Like for Tina example, It is absolutely abandonment. And from that issue of abandonment, fear plays a dominant role in hers, and self-worth, and distancing herself from human loving relationships because of fear. So you see, this one large emotion is causing so many other emotions that is impeding in her life to experience pure loving relationships that actually exist in the material world when it is spiritualized, when it's connection from the heart. And when we connect from the heart in yoga, that is called bhakti. And that is why we practice this self-inquiry. Through the process of self-inquiry, we're able to connect with our heart and with the hearts of others, and making sure that we're all divine beings. So it's really actually not so complex. So whatever happens in our life, it gets recorded. It gets recorded in our minds. It gets recorded in our muscles. Your whole body records every emotion. And the deeper, the stronger the emotion, and the recording is on multi-layer recording. It doesn't just record in your mind. It actually records in your muscles, in your fibers, in the cells in your body, because they're actually affected by the sound vibration that you're exposed to at such a young age. Trauma, we have to understand, is not something that is just emotional, because it's a very common thing. People think trauma means it's an emotional thing. It means, a trauma means it affects every aspect of your life from cellular level. Cellular level. It can actually destroy the cells in your body when you go through certain traumas. Of course, as you know, that the cells have an ability to regenerate. The body is the most complex mechanism that is created by God. Even if you eat junk, your body will extract the essence out of that junk and try to replenish and sustain this body. That's how amazingly, beautifully curated individual attention is given to the creation of this body. So when we look at emotions, every emotion will actually take effect on a cellular level, and an organic level means your organs, on a muscular level, on the muscles, and then on an emotional level, and then it hurts you on an intellectual level. Because someone has literally beaten down your intelligence. So when we are addressing with chitta cleanse, we're actually trying to address all these 5 dimensions. That's why we give you a meditation practice at the end of this, the heart space meditation, the different meditations, so you can actually rejuvenate the cells for it to grow. We provide you, more instructions on how to eat healthy food so that your body can replenish those cells. So for us, when we're doing the chitta cleanse, it is not just dealing with the emotions. Yes, we're on an emotional level, but I'm just saying the ramifications, it's broad, it's very big. That's why when we do yoga asanas in the retreats, based on your ability to do certain poses, we're able to see the impact that it had on your muscles. What stretches can you do? What is restricting you? What is easier? What is harder? Those are muscles that have retained information and that is not allowing you to do certain things. That's why yoga and exercise is important, because it enables cellular movement. And then gradually It helps to, it's a both way, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So we try to address this on multi-levels. So in your case, as a teenager, obviously the emotions that you have lodged as a teenager, you have bypassed it for a long time through a spiritual process. Oh, I just become this great yogi, don't think about it, it never happened, and I just move on, and that's what we call a spiritual bypass, because I have something so great, I just latch on to God and all my problems are solved. Yes and no. The answer is achintya bheda abheda tattva, which means simultaneously yes and no. On a functional level, you haven't addressed it. On a spiritual level, maybe you have addressed it, but the functional level, you're stuck. So what that means, on a functional level, we have to address it. Spiritual level, you're good. On a functional level, we have to address it. And that is what we're doing. By acknowledging that we are bypassing, that in itself helps you to release more relaxing neurochemicals in your body. So you're not uptight and holding things, Natural emotions of love and affection will come, and better relationships will come in your life. So the process will eventually take you there, as the yogis who have been masters of understanding how the interconnectivity of all these emotions. Sugar is connected to the emotion of love. When someone craves sugar, means they're craving love. Number one thing, right? And as you mentioned, don't try. Because if you try to stay away from sugar, you'll never be able to do it. Don't try. All you have to do is you have to ask yourselves the question, why do I want sugar? And when you go through the process of self-inquiry, then the intelligence is involved and you can easily stay away. Because the senses, if you tell the senses don't eat sugar, they will want more sugar. But if you ask the intelligence is the mother, then it'll enable you, it'll empower you so much more to do the right thing. There is no one in this world that has the power to help you, because you actually have the key. You are the owner of all the power that there is. And now through the Sangha, you have a partner, Sangha partner. And the more you communicate with each other, we are creating a community of support system where you communicate with each other as much as you want and help each other and share each other's journeys. Because it is community that actually is the real healer of traumas. In Chitta Cleanse, when we do it, we're doing the course, yes, but you're going to build relationships with the person that you're talking on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. And that relationship is your community. And what is that community? The common unity is what makes a community. And what is the common thing that binds us together? It is that pure love that we have in our heart that we all want to discover, rediscover, and live in that space of pure love, pure unconditional love. No one can give that to you, and it is with you 100%. Yoga is always saying, we need to stop looking outside. Craving sugar means you're looking for love. And we have to figure out, you have a Sangha partner, get on the calls, and to see how to fill your heart up with so much love that naturally when you're loved, you will never crave sugar. So yoga explains this theory that it is so important to realize the power that you have and the Sangha as a group on this beautiful journey. And that's why the assignments we're giving you is actually small assignments for you to really dig deep into yourself. The mind does not want you to get into yourself. The mind wants you to go and compare and just look outside through your senses to see how much you can enjoy. But when we look inside, then we can truly find that pure bhakti, the pure love inside the heart. So mode of goodness means that you have extracted so much out of it that you don't really think about it as much anymore.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, you just see the divine intervention in our lives. So that's how we know that it is in the mode of goodness or pure goodness. You know, when we live our lives, every reaction, I'm not saying response, very careful, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Every reaction in our behavior is a result of a previous experience. That means every reaction, how you react to everything, is a result of a previous experience. And if you react in a harsh way, there is something that you need to go back. Where is this coming from? Like when someone aggravates me, I normally smile, right? Because I'm like, okay, cool. You call me names, I laugh and I smile. I think it's so cute. And I remember sometimes when people say unpleasant things and I get aggravated or agitated, and I'm like, snap, Veda, pause. Where did that just come from? So then I'm able to piece the dots, and put it in line to make sure, oh, I understand where that came from. I got some work to do. So it's so easy to analyze yourself because you are the best doctor. You are the best yogi. You are the best person to heal yourself and to know yourself and to work on yourself and to be the best self. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a very beautiful text in Sanskrit where Krishna is explaining to his friend Arjuna. He said, you should try to know the self, with the self, by the self, for the self. For once you get to know the self, then you will know the divine self. And I thought I was like, whoa, let's study that verse one more time. And then I, studied that verse and studied it and break it down. It's very beautiful. Uddhare datmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanaha. The word atma, self, is used 7 times. 7 times in one text. You should try to get to know the self. And I thought, okay, I got it. I understand what you're saying. So it's very important to know every action, every reaction. Now, response, it's a whole different ballgame. Response means you have tapped into mode of goodness, tapped into mode of passion, and you're good because you're responding. Response comes from mode of goodness. Reaction comes from mode of passion and ignorance. So you'll notice yourself, as soon as you react, you're like, that was a little too quick. Let me see, where did that come from? So this is why yoga is teaching us self-awareness is priceless. And it takes work. And work in a sense that joyfully done. It's not saying work. Susukham kartumavyayam in Sanskrit. It has to be joyfully done. Any work that is not joyfully done is called hard work. And yogis don't believe in hard work. Yogis believe in happy work. Hard work is for people who work in the material world. They have to work really hard to make money to pay bills. That is hard work. And what yogis say is that happy work, susukham kartum avyayam. Susukham means joyfully performed. One is two assignments. One is a value statement, where if you can write a value statement for yourself, you can write a paragraph, you can write a few sentences. We need to know for yourself, what is your value in this world? What do you bring to this world? What is your worth? Does that make any sense? A value statement? You know, like if you go to the Forbes magazine, you'll know Bill Gates' value is, $158 billion or something like that. So you all have values that you think what you're worth. So if you can make a value statement, that will be assignment 1. And then, so our next assignment is, second assignment is, now that you have found out your emotions in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, if you can check through this week, when you react to situations in your life, check to see if you're responding or you're reacting. Because that is another way for us to gauge if there is congruency, if your emotions and your reactions are congruent. Because then we'll know whether there is a spiritual bypass or something that is going on. You're bypassing something. So to find the congruency. And I'm so happy with all of you because I really feel in my heart of hearts that we are actually bonding together as a community because we are both trying to rediscover our true eternal spiritual love, unconditional love within our hearts. So that makes us very unique souls in quest for bhakti. The term in Sanskrit is called bhakti, to find that space of unconditional love. So